I have relatives who are White Sox fans, and
It must be lonely.
I think that you are the Cubs. People go to Cubs games when the Cubs suck. People do not go to White Sox games when the White Sox suck.
Yeah, I understand the whole thing
and
now. I
that
get that.
happens in other towns too. I think the White Sox are more typical of a fan base of any team. When the team's not very good, the stadium's empty. Chicago, people go to Cubs games no matter how bad the team is,
Yes.
and it is a party. And so I don't remember your exact wording. Was it they hate the White Sox?
Well, I guess you walked in a second late as well, but you've heard me say this before, that there are not Cubs fans, there are Wrigley fans.
Well,
they're Wrigley Field fans.
That is, I think the Cubs fan base is really different.
And because they're Wrigley fans, of course they're not going to be fans of that crappy stadium they built on the south side that is as boring as it comes.
Was literally one of the last stadiums built before they decided we can make these things really cool and fun.
So, yeah, there's not a ton of love. Like if you ask Chicagoans, what percentage do you think are Cub fans versus White Sox fans?
I have no clue. I think there are more Cubs fans, but
you think?
Yeah. But you yourself say there's not Cubs fans. There's Wrigley Field fans.
They're more Wrigley Field fan than there are Cub fans. There's fans of every team. Okay, let's get that out of the way. All right, there's a little hyperbole being played here, but the majority of those fans that root for that team on the north side, they do so because of Wrigley Field, because of the old tradition, because the stadium has been there for 1,000 years, and because it was built on day drinking. Because what a great thing it was to go out to a Cubs game on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday afternoon and hoist some beers and sit in the bleachers. Who doesn't want to do that? Everybody wants
Cubs
to do that.
fans have problems. They're alcoholics. That's what it comes
right.
down to.
And yes, of course, right now the Cubs are good and the White Sox suck, so it's even there's more of a bias now. But I'm not worried about this year. I get that part. The Cubs have been a miserable franchise forever, but there was Wrigley Field, so everybody walked around with a happy face. The White Sox were actually competitive for a while. They won the World Series one year, and it was like, okay, whatever. Cubs will get them next year.
That's where I think you're wrong. I don't think people are like, whatever.
No, that's a fact. Facts.
I think that is more of a.
Thank you, King. That's fact.
Your interpretation that you just don't listen to White Sox fans.
They're not heard. They're not out there. They're shamed. You can't root for the Sox. You got to root for the Cubs. It's weird because like in New York, you can be a Yankee fan and you can be a Mets fan. And there's a split. I don't think it's an equitable split, but it's a heck of a lot more equitable than it is in Chicago. And there's like a friendly rivalry with it. With the White Sox, they're like cast off.
See, I don't think they're cast off. I just think nobody cares right now because they're bad. And I think that's typical of most MLB towns.
And it's the south side, it's the gritty side, it's the blue collar side. They don't get, but no, let's go to the north side with the cake eaters and enjoy it up there.
The weird thing is that Wrigley Field is wildly outdated.
Yes, but it's a historic building.
It's a historic building. The White Sox Stadium is more modern,
but it's boring.
It is really boring. It is really, really boring. But so the Tigers did win at that boring stadium last night.
And there were dozens that saw it.
Yes, there were. They're a bad team. People don't support.
Well, they're a bad team, and it was.
It's like the Miami, Miami and that Colorado game the other night that had 3,000 people.
Yeah, look, it's a second worst team in baseball or whatever they are. I understand why nobody's there, and it's a rainy night. You
know what's crazy too is when there's a rain out at a place like Chicago, and it's 95 minutes long. The net of that is, it feels like there's more Tiger fans than White Sox fans there because after a long rain delay, if you travel to Chicago,
you've made a commitment.
You're going to the game. If you live in Chicago, after an hour, you might be like, I'm pulling the plug and going home.
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like last night. When that game started, it felt like there were more Tiger fans there than White Sox fans. But the Tigers jumped on top 2-0. Lazy play by Benintendi in left field. Maybe it was just super aggressive. Joey Cora waving Andy Ibanez around third, but Ibanez had started back towards second on a base hit to left. You don't see that guy score very often, but he did. Benintendi, He didn't make that catch on what ended up being the game-winning play. And there were a couple of Benintendi not in a one-run game. Those two plays with Benintendi, the kind of lazy throw back into the infield that helped allow Ibanez to score and not making that catch really cost the White Sox.
And those were unintended reasons why they lost.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that the one late in the game, was it Colt Keith that hit that one?
Yeah, the little blooper.
That was fair by 3 inches. I mean, it was fair by 3 inches. And Perez did a great job of base running on that. Like, he went like 3/4 of the way down. Had Benintendi caught that, he may have had to play at second base to double him up. But Perez read it really well and ends up coming around very easily. And then Colt Keith did the right thing by taking the extra base too, but they couldn't get him home. But 5's what they needed. 5's what they got. It was nerve-wracking, I think, for a while. It was frustrating for a while. This team, it just continues to plug away and win games. And yes, you took advantage. You're taking advantage, and hopefully they do it again this afternoon, of a bad baseball team. This is a bad baseball team. There's no shame in losing to a bad baseball team. Just don't lose the series. And you don't want to split this series either. You want to go away 3-1 with the series win in this one. And if they do, it'll be a 5-2 road trip, which is what I was hoping for. It would have been great to do better than that, but the best they can do on this road trip, if they win today, is 5-2. What that results in, 20 games above 500.
It continues to be amazing watching this Tiger team win. We got a Twitter poll question out there that we would like you to go vote and comment, and it is about what this team might need to do. The question is, when it's all said and done, do the Tigers have to make a big acquisition at the trade deadline to win the World Series, giving up legit prospects for a star player? Or would standing pat and making smaller smart move or moves be enough? And your choices are have to go big, don't need to go big. So go vote. Comments will be read on the air, and we will do that coming up. Let's get to your phone calls and feedback. 248-539-9797. Just a reminder, listen to the show on the Odyssey app. Download it for your mobile device today, AUDACY. More and more people do that. We see how many people do that each and every day, and we do appreciate all of you out of market or just driving around and decided that's the way you want to take it in. Streaming the show with the Odyssey app. Get it for your mobile device. Also streaming to our website, 971theticket.com, where the Birchie Kid and Evan are responsible for fine content. Additionally, you can stream with video, twitch.tv and youtube.com, streaming chat on both sites. We like to participate when we can, but that way you can watch the show. So always you can take in this program and all the shows here on 97.1 The Ticket. Your phone calls and feedback next. It's Karsch and Anderson here on 97.1.